Is there a daily practice that you can advise us to do to connect with our inner self and Gaia? And if you can also advise us what kinds of food we should eat.
In order to connect with yourself, you need to first surrender to yourself. You need to surrender to the higher parts of yourself, the bigger part of yourself that is in the higher realms. And in order to do that, you need to unconditionally love yourself. And by unconditionally loving yourself, then you can start also unconditionally loving all around you that are just a reflection of you, are parts of you. So for this, in order to happen also, nature has very important part. A daily practice for you could be just, of course, there are so many permission slips, so many tools that you could be using. So follow your inner guidance on this. But what I could suggest is the following. You can have some time spending in nature, just walking around, breathing the fresh air, just being present in the here and now, observing what is happening, letting go of negative thoughts or any thoughts that are appearing and just being as fully present as you can. Something else that you can do is just sit next to a tree and continue being present, continue breathing out negative energy or energies that you would like to release, and breathing in from the core of Mother Earth, golden light, and feeling it expanding into the into the wholeness of your being. Also, it is advisable to have some physical exercises. This could be Qigong, this could be yoga, but something physical where you are stretching yourself, where you are stretching the muscles, the tendons, because the body needs to move. If it doesn't move, it gets stagnant, the energy gets clogged, and this reflects as diseases. So the second thing is have a Qigong, yoga, or any other practice that you resonate with. And of course, you can have also spiritual practice, like alchemical practices, like high magic practices, like Kundalini yoga practices as well. But again, follow your inner guidance. It's very important that in this day and age where everything is so accelerated and everything is coming on the surface in such a tremendous pace, to have the time to really slow down, enter into yourself, focus on the breathing, and do walking in the garden, staying next to the tree, doing some qigong, have some spiritual practice where you are just breathing. It could be a guided meditation, it could be a path working. All the tools that exist are leading to the same place, which is union with the divine. As it is said, samadhi. So in these spiritual practices, it's also advisable to have an instructor, to have someone leading you into them, leading you through them, at least in the beginning, because these practices are very powerful and they can unleash forces that if you're not ready to deal with, they can really disrupt your mental state of being, your emotions and stuff like this, because these practices, for example, chemical Taoist practices on the higher levels, they can bring up so much on the surface coming from the shadow self, from the unconscious and subconscious, that if the person is not ready for them, he can go through the so-called dark night of the soul, where this is the time where when you really need someone next to you. You really need someone who you can share your experiences, who can guide you through this process and just be there for you and share love with you and motivate you to move forward on this path, because this path is not for everybody. You really need to be ready for it. You really need to be, your soul, your spirit should have made this decision that this is the lifetime where you need to start these practices and this path. This is why this path is called the hero and heroine's journey, because it is a challenging path, but it leads to greatness. It leads to supernal and supreme success on all levels of the being. So I would advise start small, maybe 15 minutes a day with a daily practice, qigong, walking in the park, and then see if you can expand this. Some basic practices that you can do are the 6 healing sounds of Taoism, the inner smile also. From the high magic, it could be Kabbalistic cross, it could be middle pure. But again, if you're not familiar with these practices, the channel and his beloved, they also teach them. Their mentor, Tyler Ellison, is also teaching them. So there, and many, many other more people who are teaching this.
What a beautiful answer. I'm deeply grateful.
Thank you for receiving it.
My next question is, does just being aware of the various negative collective narratives mean that we have chosen these negative narrative track? Or how do we know for sure if we have slingshot it?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. So we are aware of the negative collective narratives, and does this mean that we have chosen a path or a track in which is a negative track? Or how do we know if we have chosen a positive one?
Sometimes the negative is not negative. The positive is not positive. And this is why in the Tai Chi symbol, in the yin and yang, you have in the white a little bit in black, and in the black a little bit of white, because in the positive there is negative, in the negative there is positive, and it's always a matter of resonance, a matter of vibration, with which one do you align. And everything, no matter what, how it manifests in your reality, it's neutral. You need to look at it from the core of your beingness, where you see the plus, you see the minus, you see the positive, the negative, the light and the dark, and you know everything. What I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing is neutral. It's only me. How I determine this, and this is the effect that I will be receiving. If you, of course, put a positive effect on something, it will be positive. And even if you at first experience negative effects, doesn't mean that they are forever negative, that you're on a negative track, because you have selected this path for a reason. And if you are, let's say, in a negative reality, like where you say, oh, I see these things on the TV around me, I don't like them, I'm in a negative path, so on and so forth, that's not the case. It's just like Bashar many times has spoke about it. It's the splitting prism of parallel realities, where you're just seeing them from a glass mirror, and by your reaction towards it, then you select how the effect would be on you, whether it would be positive, whether it would be negative. So no, you are not on a negative track. There are challenges that you must go forth first, in order to start experiencing what you prefer. Because if you first do not experience what you do not prefer, you will not be able to fully get the pleasure, the beauty, the bliss, the appreciation, and the love of that which you prefer. This is why on your planet there is so much like challenges and, in a way, suffering, because in these moments you're really getting in touch with your true self. You're learning what is real for you, what is true for you. And from that point onward, you can move forward more boldly, more strong. And negative realities create heroes, create heroines. How, let's say you're in a spa where everything is perfect in your life, you're living in a castle. How exactly? Of course, it's not impossible, but it's very rare that you will awaken to your inner power. You need to be put outside of your comfort zone, and then you have the ability to actually start going beyond your limits, discovering that inner strength, that inner power that is inherent to who and what you truly are.
This resonates very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And my last question is about the eye of the needle. Are we still going through it?
The process of the eye of the needle, it's an ongoing process, but most of you have already let go of these very big chunks, very big parts of your belief systems that are obstructing you from really spreading your wings and manifesting your true selves. So yes, the process is ongoing, but now it's kind of becoming smoother. It's kind of, you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You're not there yet, but you're about to get there. And this is why it's very important in these times to continue to let go of what no longer serves and amplify that which is embodying the energies of love, of creativity, of passion, of excitement, of bliss, of innovation, following your hearts. The process of going through the eye of the needle is just a process of opening the heart. Because in order to meet us, you need to first meet yourself. You need to first see yourselves, the humanity, as brothers and sisters. Because you cannot expect open contact if you do not accept your people. How would you accept us? So this process of Eye of the Needle is just a process of opening the heart, seeing yourself in the eyes, in the hearts of the others around you, and really falling in love with what you see.
Thank you very much, dear friend. This was, as always, very helpful, very insightful, and so beautiful.
I'm very grateful for this interaction as well. As always, tremendous bliss, passion, and joy for us, individually and collectively. We keep you in deep appreciation and love in our hearts. And we will see you very soon. Our unconditional love to each and every single one of you. Good day, dear friends, and happy, magical dreams in lucidity.